So, Secret Invasion has finished, and let's look at how the finale was received. And here we go. Secret Invasion disappoints with a lackluster finale, earning a dismal 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. Missed potential and low execution left fans unhappy. Well, isn't this how it goes for Disney Marvel these days? It's debatable how much Rotten Tomatoes scores can be trusted, but that 13% kind of matches up with what the viewing figures look like. Secret Invasion has Marvel's second lowest premiere viewing figures. So, according to Samba TV, 994,000 US households tuned in to episode 1 of the Samuel L. Jackson-led series, which was the second lowest figure of any Marvel show. I haven't seen viewing figures for the finale yet. I can't imagine that they're much better than this. But at least it was cheap, right? No. It has a $212 million budget, which is twice the budget of Oppenheimer. Why? How does a show that looks like this spend such a ridiculous amount of money? This is very purposefully not a superhero blockbuster. No CGI-laden fights across skyscrapers. No giant battles in space. It's supposed to be a grounded, Cold War-type spy series where the vast majority of it is two people talking in rooms. Okay, they've got some big stars: Samuel L. Jackson, Don Cheadle, Ben Mendelsohn, Emilia Clarke, Olivia Colman. I'm sure you have to pay them a lot of money, but not $212 million. So the basic idea, a kind of Cold War spy thriller kind of a thing, I like that. That reminds me of my favourite movie in the MCU, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I'm really up for kind of a sequel to that. So in theory, tying in Black Widow might seem like a good idea. As much as I really like the character of Black Widow, the movie was not very good or very successful, but the makers of Secret Invasion decided to really double down and tie this movie into the Secret Invasion TV show. For example, Dreykov's men. Who's Dreykov? I don't really remember. Apparently, he was the villain in Black Widow. Episode 3 of Secret Invasion sees Nick Fury and Varia meet up in 1998 before they become a couple. She passes on information to him about Dreykov. Dreykov is the man who runs the Red Room, the program that creates widows out of Natasha Romanoff and Yelena Belova, trying to remind people of a bad movie that failed. Doesn't seem like the best idea. Rick Mason, episode 5, features a surprising cameo with a Black Widow connection. Okay, I can see what you're doing, it's the same kind of genre, but again, Black Widow wasn't a particularly successful film. Why are they trying to tie this in so closely? But anyway, Secret Invasion is done. What's coming up next? Well, it's Captain Marvel. And it looks like the Marvels is going to be going down the same incredibly interconnected road. Captain Marvel 2 will act as a sequel to these 5 MCU movies and shows. In talking with Entertainment Weekly, Brie Larson revealed that she and Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige felt the Marvel's connection to 5 previous MCU stories was the way this story made sense to go. So first of all, obviously, Captain Marvel itself. Captain Marvel also introduced Maria Rambeau and her young daughter Monica. Then there's Avengers Endgame. Then there's Wandavision, the project where arguably the MCU started to fall apart. Then there's Miss Marvel, bringing in the title character from there. And finally, there's Secret Invasion. For MCU fans hungry for the MCU tradition of interconnected storytelling, The Marvels sounds like the project in which Marvel Studios gets back to basics. No, it sounds like quite the opposite. It sounds extremely overcomplicated. And while that may be true, it's important to realise there's nothing basic about picking up where 5 different stories left off. Okay, so which is it? It's back to basics or it's nothing basic? And again, what are we supposed to expect here? There's also the reality that Captain Marvel 2 is the MCU's first big screen crossover where Disney Plus shows are considered required viewing. Now, it seems kind of obvious, but the audience for Disney Plus shows is considerably smaller than the number of people who actually go to the movies. So Disney Marvel seem completely committed to making things as complicated as possible, to throwing in as many Easter eggs as they can. So Easter eggs and cameos appear to be Marvel's substitute for good storytelling. I think the prime example of this would be Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness with the Illuminati sequence. So get a few characters, throw them on the screen, get them to say their catchphrase, ignore the fact that they make lots of stupid mistakes and die very quickly, and then hopefully just make lots of money from people who are very easily satisfied. But at the same time, as this constant need to refer back, I think it's instructive to look at a poster for Infinity War to see just how few of the actors are left. We've got Robert Downey Jr. gone, Chris Evans gone, Chris Hemsworth gone, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Pratt, his trilogy has finished, Spider-Man belongs to Sony, Black Panther wasn't recast. So Disney Marvel has spent a few years seemingly getting rid of as many of the old actors as possible, while writing its shows in a way that refers back to the past as much as it can, which doesn't seem to be working. Disney Marvel seem to want to go down the Star Trek route. So Star Trek had an ongoing chronology from 1966 to 2005, and recasting was extremely rare. On the other hand, think of characters like Spider-Man or Batman or Doctor Who, all of which have been successfully recast on a regular basis in the past. And Disney Marvel is kind of semi-recasting Captain America, with Anthony Mackie moving into the role next year. But still, that's 5 years since Endgame that it's taken Disney Marvel to actually get a Captain America movie into theatres. And it's a sign of the new MCU that it lacks big characters. Think about Thor being turned into a joke in Love and Thunder. Think about Doctor Strange being turned into a side character in his own movie. So, with the writer's strike putting a halt on production for the foreseeable future, I think it's time for the MCU to stop trying to hold on to the past. Stop with the Easter eggs and the convoluted references to what's gone before, and think about how to make some good standalone movies like in Phase 1, and perhaps the viewing figures will be better for those than Secret Invasion. Thanks for watching.